Alright, more scary Twilight Zone epics, and what better one than the criminally underrated Mirror Image. This episode doesn't have a moral for once, but exactly like A World of Difference, taps into some deeply unsettling horror, which rocks your worldview. Rod's fans will be happy to know I love this episode, and consider it some solid sinister fun. In this nightmare, we follow a young lady named Millicent Barnes, who's awaiting at a bus stop for her ride home. However, strange things occur while she sits at the rainy station. Millicent is played by our favorite Norman Bates rival, Lila Crane from the Psycho Saga. And she does a wonderful job at playing up a neurotic, anxious career woman, questioning what's going on here. Millicent isn't quite a deep character, but like Marcia from the After Hours, she's just a paranoid soul who wants to go home only to find herself absorbed into the madness of the Twilight Zone. While waiting for her very late bus, Millicent has peculiar encounters with many of the wacky characters at the bus station who proclaim to have met her before, even though she has no knowledge of them. She talks with the cranky bus manager who cries that she's asked him the same questions multiple times now, even though she's only now meeting him. Her bag disappears and reappears at random. She notices odd instances where she thinks something is going on around her, and she meets a few people who claim they just saw her prior, only for her to have no memory of those moments. It's soon revealed that the reason Millicent doesn't recall any of this stuff is because she didn't do it. Her clone did. Yep, there's two Millicents, and she's experiencing the aftermath of her clone's antics, while narrowly bumping into her double, only to miss her every time. Believe it or not, this episode was actually based on a scary experience Rod Serling himself had when he was at a bus stop. Mr. Serling apparently bumped into a man who had the exact same dress style, suitcase, and even haircut as he did. This spooked the narrator so much that he actually feared that the man would look just like him. Thankfully, this wasn't the case. Naturally, like most horror authors, Serling wrote an entire story based on his fears to share with us viewers, resulting in the tale you're now seeing. And if you don't know, this horror story featuring a sinister evil twin also inspired Jordan Peele's Us, as both the tethered and mirror double are sinister clones who seek to swipe the innocent protagonist's life for vague reasons of cosmic horror. Once again, we got a Twilight Zone tale so phenomenal that it inspired future storytelling. And to be fair, I do think this episode lives up to all the great hype. Mirror Image is solid at the subtle spookiness, has a super effective dread, an eerie atmosphere, and has so much fun with the haunting fear that you have an evil twin out there, eager to remove you from your own life so it can be all theirs. We get so much tension and unsettling visuals to make the evil twin paranoia work, empowering that sheer horror. I totally love how ominous this tale is with the clone's hidden presence. We never fully learn why the doppelganger is doing this, making our hero's trip creepier.
Oh my god, this man is my exact double! That dog has a puffy tail! Here, Puff! Here, Puff!
Eventually, Millie befriends a nice guy named Paul, who's also traveling out of state and awaiting his bus, who offers her support in her anxiety attacks. Paul sort of acts as the voice of reason to keep Millicent from slipping down the slippery slope, and exchange banter with her to explain away those plot deets. Paul doesn't believe that there are any shadow clones out there, yet does try to aid her in any way he can out of concern. Too bad he doesn't stop the clone, as Mirror Millie keeps popping up, and in one of the scariest shots of the episode, she hijacks her rival's bus seat and escapes while the real Millicent runs away to faint because she's a sensitive woman. Nobody ever finds the clone running around, so this results in everybody not believing our protagonist. Even worse, she lost her bus, so Millicent and Paul camp at the bus station all night trying to think things through. Tragically, this final act is a total letdown. I have rather mixed feelings on how this episode wraps up, as it's super over the top, unintentionally hilarious, and worst of all, rushed. Like really, really rushed. So quick that it kind of harmed the slow, eerie suspense this episode started out with. While pondering, totally out of nowhere, Millicent realizes what the evil clone is. She theorizes it's another version of her from a parallel universe, and it's broken into our world so it can kill and steal her life. A portal opened up right when both she and her doppelganger chanced upon the exact same scenario in two realms, which unlocked a way for the evil twin to escape and claim an easy opportunity to snatch her greater life away.
What?
Yeah, while it is a pretty interesting and terrifying idea, it's just so sudden and abrupt. Millicent just breaks out in this very complex Rod Serling speech to explain the magic, which is a tad too accurate for what worked as a smaller scale mystery. Oh, but it gets better. After hearing her out, Paul totally wigs out and fears that his gal pal is nuts. So he turns against her entirely and calls the cops on her, where the police just show up and shove her in the car to take to the funny farm. Yeah, the cops just jump scare out of nowhere, force her in the car against her will, don't even ask any questions or calm her, and drive off in like a few seconds. The main character just gets arrested and forcibly abducted.
These cops did not believe in due process.
It's just so hilarious and a quick, abrupt end to our main character's arc. I mean, as crazy as her monologue is, Paul just freaks out and has his pal dragged away. It made me laugh so hard.
But wait! There's more!
Just when Paul happily calms down after dumping the crazy chick, he notices that his bag gets stolen too, where he spots his evil clone who actually runs away and laughs evilly at him. The episode ends with Dark Paul escaping and Real Paul learning too late that Millie was right. Evil clones of us all are on the loose.
God help us!
To be fair, the special effects and camera tricks to pull off the evil tethered are super epic. They really look good for a 60s show. Regardless, this ending is just so campy, abrupt, forced, and unintentionally so bad it's good that it did kind of harm my viewing. Especially since I love the subtle terror this tale haunted us with. I really hate to say it, but this is a good episode which fails to stick the landing. The ending is just way too WTF goofy. Luckily, I am also a big enough cat to admit that the plot as a whole is pretty good, and a solid horror adventure. Even with that weird silly ending, the concept of a dark mirror you is still an absolutely wonderful idea, and another groundbreaking fictional trope this show gave us. So I can't stay too mad. Overall, Mirror Image is simply a decently fun horror mystery. The uncomfortable, isolated atmosphere enables the plot's terror. The cosmic horror of dark clones coming for you is solid scariness. The special effects are still amazeballs by today. There's iconic imagery all around, there's restless unease, and the story itself does contain enough outrageousness to keep you entertained. Goofy as heck ending, but at least it'll make you laugh over piss you off. So I grant this episode a gold skull. Oh, it came so close to a flawless victory, but fell at the finish line. Nevertheless, I highly recommend this episode, since it's what I consider the typical fun Twilight Zone experience. This is one mirror you'll definitely wish to reflect on.
Hey!